Okay, here we are. Hey everyone, we're in Victoria, BC, and it's Amelie Grace here with Richard Rudd.
Hello.
We're together in person.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, today we had a really beautiful event here in Victoria with the Northwest family as well as many people around the world. The 64 Names of Love is what we were soaking in all day. And here it's the evening, we're on the boardwalk in Victoria, and we just wanted to take this moment to deepen into presence and share some love with you. So I am honored to be here. How are you feeling, Richard?
I'm feeling good. Weird, but good.
It's weird to be on camera sometimes.
Yeah.
And like he's
We're holding a tripod.
It's like
In that sense, weird, but good.
And he's really tall, and
Yeah.
I'm actually really short. If you've
So
never
it's funny.
met
We're
me.
going to take a walk and contemplate a little.
We're gonna contemplate.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your personal experience of going from the city and into the shadows as you do, being a human. What would be something that you would offer us as a tool for navigating the Maya?
Well, it's like we did today. You know, we used both ends of the spectrum, but we mingled them and merged them. So when you're feeling those shadows, you also can feel the cities, and you bring them together inside your body. So you merge them. You become the cauldron, and that's the sort of magical thing, I think. You know, when you feel them reaching into each other. Like today, I described like like a glass vessel, and then you pour in this dye, like coloured dye, and you begin to see maybe two dyes, a red and a blue maybe, and they're mixing and they're merging, and it's like the shadow and the city coming together, and they form this other essence inside us, a transformational essence, and it's. We have to contain those paradoxes. Yeah, the heart has to contain those paradoxes of our suffering and also our bliss.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the challenge. That's my offering. I think that's my own practice.
So, the other day, he told a story you told a story at the event today about getting into like a really crunchy moment with your family. And you said, my heart was closed down. So in that moment, when your heart is closed down, is there a acidic dye alchemy, or is that just pure shutdown and it just is what it is until it's not?
Yeah, I'd say that's true. I think it is what it is until it's not. And knowing that that's what it is, and that's happened, and it's a trigger from your own childhood or your overwhelm or whatever it is, or your own self-disappointment or judgment, it's some pattern, and we have them all the time, right? So you just have to recognize it and wait for it for your heart to come back to life, and find a way. We all have ways, I think, of bringing it back to life. Mostly it requires some space, and being on your own perhaps, or being outside, or just withdrawing from whatever's around. You can't always do that, of course, not in a busy family, so you have to find your way through it and just accept until your heart begins to come alive again.
So
That's
finding
cool.
your ways to just navigate through that moment of shutdown.
Yeah, the awareness is what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn a corner and there's some wind, and it's like life is always giving us these new challenges and just opportunities to keep being present, to allow what arises. I personally had a really deep initiation coming to this, and there was I noticed where my capacity, it's like my capacity grows for compassion and for space and presence and awareness, and then as my capacity grows, I then get challenged even deeper. And I wonder, what might you share about, like, how has your capacity for love grown, and what are some of the things that have helped you grow in that way?
Well, I think it's what you said in a way. You know, that you let's go this way. You know, that you grow through those difficult moments, and the deeper you, we can go down here, right?
Stop! You must
Stop!
not.
You must not enter at any cost. Yeah, those are the things that we grow through. You know, we have to wrap our acceptance deeper into those difficult, challenging moments. And I think you're right. I think the better you get at coming back to life, the more you get challenged, the more you bring your heart back to life, and it's your body has to remember what that feels like. So the more you do it, the more you're able to bring your heart back online, then the quicker your body is able to remember it next time, and that's a process. So but you keep being challenged to see, I guess, how good you are at it, and you get better. Sure, you get better over time, and that's the whole journey with Gene Keys. That's the whole journey with this wisdom for all of us, just coming back to life. That's why I joked today. It's about resurrection. You know?
Yeah, and you have to be willing. You have to want it. You know, I notice I come across a lot of places where it's like I'm hitting up against resistance. And I know that that's part of my unfolding, because it's showing me where, like you said today, like it's exactly what we need. Yeah, let's sit.
What's a good place to sit?
I think this might be a good angle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, that's nice. Got some ocean, some pretty good light.
Be good if I don't fall in.
That'd be fun. I forget what I was saying. It was probably not.
Well, I think that, what I'd say is that it's about softness and treating ourselves with softness, and always remembering that. We were talking a lot about forgiveness today, self-forgiveness. It always comes back to me as just to be soft with yourself, just to be gentle with yourself, and especially around issues of the heart. And surround yourself with that feeling, that siddhi frequency, that emanation of love and self-love. And we can't always remember it immediately. It's hard sometimes, isn't it?
It is.
But you can go into that darkness and that numbness, and you can always find a little spark of something, and that's what I kind of recommend that we do when we're feeling closed off, or we're feeling challenged, that you find that little spark. You take yourself away, or you find that little spark, and then you begin to work it, you begin to fan the flame a little bit, and you just gently work it, and it might take you a while. Sometimes it's like days, sometimes it's hours, and sometimes there's something delightful happens that just speeds up the process.
Right.
Sometimes the opposite, something else happens and slows it. You kind of find the space to nurture yourself, and it's all part of the game.
That really hit it today when you contextualized, again, reminding us that this is all a game. Remember, suffering is a part of the game. And I just was weeping, like,
and I put up
so
this
beautiful
image of the pot with the gold, the broken pot that had been, the kintsugi pottery that had broken, and then it gets mended with gold, liquid gold, and it ends up being gold ever. And applying that to our wounds, and our pains and our aches and our sorrows and our disappointments and all of it, everything that hurts inside us. When we go into that, we can remodel it. We can find the gold that's coming through that wants to come through the cracks You know, the broken cracks, the broken parts of us. You know, there's gold underneath it, wanting to kind of rise up.
Right.
And then we end up creating something even more beautiful of our lives because we've accepted and forgiven ourselves and moved on. You know, we've moved on and opened wider to life.
Yeah.
We just keep doing that. That's what we're here to do. Keep
Just
doing
keep doing that.
that. We end up becoming more and more beautiful.
You're looking sharp today.
Yeah. You're not looking bad yourself.
Yeah, just over and over again, deepening our capacity. And something, just while we're here, something that came through today as we were talking about relationships. You know, we can see how, like, oh, this pattern keeps revealing itself, this negative energy I keep drawing into my life, and here it is, and it's so toxic, and I need to get away, and where I need to set a boundary, and what's holy, and I want this, and how we tend to overthink. But also what really came through today was how it's our relationship to the challenge that we keep meeting that is going to allow us to get the gold. You know, because if this challenge is coming up and I keep resisting or reacting or repressing it, then I'm not getting the gold, and it keeps doing the thing. And that's where spiritual bypass comes in really strong. Is we're like, I'm a Buddhist. I want to be in the Christ light. Like, I'm calling in the higher harmonies, and we get really attached to the ideals, and we look at the negative things happening in our life, and we want to get away from them. And there's truth in that in the larger picture. But the reason why I'm just Gene Keys resonates like through and through for me is it's asking us to utilize everything that's happening in our life as the savior, you know, as the Christ light. Like, and if I can take what is really hard and shift, like you say, it's softness, it's how do I relate to that in a way that allows me to get that gold. Because I might not believe what you're saying about there's a gift in the shadow if I keep resisting the shadow and I'm not getting my gold. So how can we continue to relate to that shadow in a way where we nurture the gold out of it? And then, la la la.
Yeah, I mean, you notice that, you know, some of the questions that came in today are questions where people are are looking at the way they're dealing with their own suffering, and you know, there's a small part of us that's wanting to find another way, or wanting to, like you just said, or looking for another option. And sometimes we're 99% there, but there's that 1% that's just looking somewhere else. And that 1% is vital. You know, that our full awareness is actually facing right into the shadow that we're dealing with right in front of us. Because otherwise we can't hit that place of true kind of transformation and acceptance, because it requires our full attention. And that requires real valor, I think, you know, and a real presence inside us to kind of just be there. And yes, it's very understandable that a part of us doesn't want to be there, but that also has to be contained in the moment as well. Like, I don't want to be here, but I'm here. Instead of following that, I don't want to be here, somewhere else, and then, you know, ending up part of you, you know, literally split, divided, like you said. You know, some of you going off into the city realm, but unable to just deal with the basic problems of your relationship, for example. That's why today I talked a lot about courtesy, and I kind of always feel like, do I sound like a kind of Victorian?
Courtesy.
You know, courtesy. But actually I see it as like this very holy nectar that we sprinkle in our relationships, that we treat each other with respect, and that we use words of kindness wherever possible. And if we have something difficult to say, we really pick our time, and we really find a space and a way to say that is affirming, rather than blaming, which is often how it is received. So that's a real challenge as well, like refining those times, how we use our words with others. And the people we love the most, we save our deepest shadow behavior for, right? So that's why courtesy, you're just remembering courtesy in our deep relationships.
Pure gold.
It is.
It's gold.
It makes. I mean, it's a surface behavior, right? Because you're just saying, like, instead of saying what you wanted to say, your behavioral pattern overrides it and goes, "I'm not going to say that," even though I really want to say it. And then you actually, maybe it comes up later, but in a different way, in a more measured way, or maybe it just dissipates, and you realize, oh my God. If I jumped in there, imagine what that could have led to.
Totally.
So actually, it's about creating a climate in your relationship. Courtesy. It's a climate. It's not false. It's like I said today. It's like the oil in the gears. It makes everything easier. And we kind of forget that basic thing.
Yeah.
I think the Buddhists are quite good at that because they have this right speech thing,
Ooh.
and it's like it can be misunderstood, but it is about it's a great teaching, that right speech. Just be careful what you say and how you say it.
Yeah. And one thing I'll just say is, like, what I feel for myself, the way I need a container and I need a commitment to actually live up to that. And something that Richard offered us, and it's so simple today, is okay, choose that city of the SQ, or choose that, like, the courtesy, that line of courtesy, and take 100 days and sit with it and contemplate. So simple. One little thing for 100 days. He said something magical about the Taoists would take that long for them to somehow complete some form of
contemplative.
Yeah. And so, like, if you are like me, and something like courtesy is one of those, like, default, like, I tend to not have that restraint muscle there. It's like, I love you, Theo, you're a saint. Then I need to set a container, and I need to say, for the next, even just
5 days.
5 days, like 5 hours, I'm gonna, be courteous, and it happened today.
You're just gonna work on it.
And so little victories and chalking up the victories, however, you can. It's just those little changes over time.
They do mount up. Yeah, they become. It's a technique. Then it becomes a habit. Then it becomes a custom. And when it's a custom, it's really entered deeply into. It becomes a ritual in a way. Like, you treat someone. It's not false anymore. It's not put on. You genuinely enjoy being courteous.
Yeah.
So.
And I love that I thought you were going to say it moves from habit to personality, but you actually went to culture. You went like, you are a culture unto yourself.
Yeah.
You have your customs,
Yeah.
you have your traditions.
And customs are deeply embedded, in our DNA. Yeah, I mean, you see it occasionally you go out in the world and you meet indigenous people, or you see elderly people from different cultures, and they really worked on it their whole life, and you meet these couples and they really have it down. They have this kind of deep respect for each other, and it's been, they've worked on it. They've gone through the difficult period of the children and the arguing and the work crisis and the losing money and whatever has happened, but then they've grown through that, and they have developed this deep respect for each other and each other's emotions. And that's what I love that.
Love that.
Yeah.
May we all be embodiments for each other of those qualities that we seek to live and be. And it's just amazing to be in your presence and get to be with your human self. Like, that was one of the great things about being with you today. It's like he's just so natural. Just here we are, and that's wonderful, coming from a teacher and someone who we might want to put up on a pedestal and it carries this grand aura, the creator of the gene keys, you know. And here he is, he's just like, hey, how are you? You know, meeting people right here, because, you know, we're in the gift actually of leadership right now. It's the sun is in the 31, so that's something that comes through that stream, is that humble, you know, humility is the true mark of a solid leader. And so thank you for just bringing this transmission through and living it, and then bringing your teachings to us to share and creating a community around it. It's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Yay.
Yeah, and blessings and love to all you
Blessings
watching
and love
this.
to you.